Ladies and gentlemen, Gary Moore.
Thanks very much. Thank you indeed. Welcome to Anayomishigas. Our first send in for a translation. Our first guest today is an unusual helicopter pilot. When whirling around in the air, our pilot is not so much on the lookout for other aircraft in the skies, but rather automobiles on the roadways. We will meet this interesting person in just a moment, as soon as we've met the interesting people on our panel here on To Tell the Truth.
Kitty Carlisle. Derwent Kirby. Peggy Cass. And Bill Cullen.
Gee, I thought you'd forgotten me totally, Peggy.
No. I was giving you that girl-watching bit.
Oh, there, you there. Yeah. All right. You want to go, friends? Want to play games? Let us meet our helicopter pilot.
Number one, what is your name, please?
My name is Deanie Petty.
Number two.
My name is Deanie Petty.
Number three.
My name is Deanie Petty.
And our job is to find out which one of these young ladies is indeed Deanie Petty. And here is her affidavit. I, Deanie Petty, am a helicopter pilot. I don't fly just for fun, however. Instead, from my perch in the sky, I issue traffic reports. I perform this task every weekday morning and evening and for special news events. Few girls have a job such as this, and when I'm in touch with 3 different control towers, talking to my station operator, and all the while guiding my helicopter, observing and reporting on the traffic below, I need all my wits about me. Since helicopter traffic reporting has always been a man's job, indeed I am the only girl who pilots and reports, I have taken steps to make sure that everybody knows my aircraft belongs to a girl. Inside and out, my helicopter is painted all pink. Signed, Deanie Petty. While we try to figure out some sharp questions, let's pause for some pointed messages. Now, we have 3 very attractive young ladies with us, all of whom claim to be Deanie Petty, the traffic reporting helicopter pilot, and we'll start the questioning with our resident flyboy, Bill Cullen.
Well, I don't know which one you are, but I say to fly those things up there in that busy corridor around and report traffic, you do a tremendous job. Number 2, in what city do you do this?
Los Angeles.
Yeah, I knew it with the pink helicopter. Number one, what is the control, what does one call the control that changes the pitch on the rotor blades, the main rotor blades up top?
The collective.
Number 2, where is that control station when the pilot sits normally on the left side?
It's on the left.
On the left of the pilot?
You mean, are you talking about the collective?
Yes.
Yes, it's on the left.
Number 3, can you fly instruments in the helicopter the way yours is instrumented right now?
No.
Number 2, what license do you have to have, at least you did, I don't know about now, before you can begin taking helicopter instruction?
They give you, just like a learner's, but there's no actual license until you get your private.
Number 1.
Thank you, Bill. And that takes us to Kitty.
Number 2, till you get your what?
And, well, if you're working towards your private or your...
A private license or a commercial license?
Right.
Is that what you're trying to say?
Yes, Kitty.
Number 3, are you allowed to take helicopter lessons without learning how to fly an ordinary plane?
Yes.
And number 3, how long is the training? Number 1.
How long is the training?
Yeah.
100 hours, so however long it takes you to reach
Thank you.
that.
Number 2, what is your cruising speed?
About 70 miles an hour.
And number 3, do you feel that it's a protection to have your helicopter painted pink, that people pay more attention and are kinder to you and wouldn't bump into you or anything?
I'd like to think that.
Number 1, who do you work for?
I work in Honolulu, Hawaii for KGMB Television.
Oh, I see. And number 2, who do you work for?
KNX.
And number 3, how many hours do you work a day?
7 to 9 in the mornings and 4 to 6 in the afternoons.
And Durward?
Thank you. Number 2, I think that I have heard or read someplace about you say that you're the only girl, though, that flies.
Yes, yeah.
Because didn't I hear of a Dawn and Eve?
Yes, Dawn and Eve, they're two different girls. And they just sit in the plane and they don't fly.
That's precious. Now, number 3, what altitude do you cruise?
Around 1,000 feet, up to 1,500 feet.
Number 1, who owns KNX?
KNX? I'm sorry, I don't know who owns KNX.
Oh, number 3, would you know?
No.
Number 2, if you lose with your big blade up there, if you lose power, what happens?
Well, there's an auto rotation, and the helicopter will go down by itself.
Every time. I guarantee you, the only thing I know is it ain't gonna go up no more. Right? That I promise you. And that takes it to Peggy.
Number 3, where do you work?
Toronto, Canada.
Oh, for which station?
CKEY.
Now, number 3, have you ever had to put your helicopter down like in a parking lot or something because you've gotten into trouble?
No.
Number 1, isn't it hard to look at the traffic and fly the plane both at the same time?
Yes, it is.
Well, what have you got, a glass bottom? I bet you
No, I have a glass front.
Please, that's a
the helicopter's got a glass bottom.
Yeah,
But the thing is, when you look there, you might be missing something there. I mean, does it make you nervous?
It did for a long time.
Number 2, when you got this job, did they say, hey, kid, come on, you want to fly a plane? Or did you know how to fly a plane when you went in?
Just about. I've been around things for a little bit, but I was just learning. They just sort of asked me to fly if I wanted to learn how to fly a helicopter.
That's terrific.
There are other people involved.
Have you a contract with this station?
Yes, I have.
They've sunk a lot of money into teaching you how to fly.
Yes,
they can't
they
fire
have.
you. Number 3, in Toronto, it gets very snowy in the winter. What do you do then?
I'm sorry, we'll never know the answer to that, Peggy. We're going to have to vote right now and make up our minds. Mark our ballots either for number 1, or for number 2, or for number 3. It costs us $50 for each wrongly marked ballot, $500 if nobody marks their ballot correctly, and Bill, you must start.
You know, the pink is not unusual. They have a thing called recognition pink, which they paint the wingtips of some airplanes. Number 1 knew all about the controls, and as far as I can recall, when I used to fool with it, you had to have at least a commercial license before they'd truck with you, teaching you a helicopter. Maybe that's changed.
You're saying you had to first fly a conventional plane.
But the service might have changed that.
Okay, let's go to Kitty.
Well, I don't know anything about those technical things, and I'm sure they're all delicious, but I voted for number 3.
1 for 3 and 1 for 1. And Durward?
I voted for number 2. I thought that they were all very good, but I went for the answer she gave me for the big rotary blade. I don't know anything about it.
It comes down.
Yeah, it comes down in place of going
Real
up.
good answer. 1 for 1, 1 for 2, and 1 for 3. And Peggy, you're going to be the tiebreaker.
Yeah, well, the thing is that I don't know anything about helicopters, but I have been in Hawaii. And I think that girl is from Hawaii because I think her dress is from Hawaii. So that's...
You wouldn't want to reconsider?
That's my reason.
That's your reason. You're voting for the dress.
It's not from Hawaii.
Right on that basis, we will find out for sure. Will the real Deanie Petty please stand up? Good girl, Kitty. Listen, you can all be blamed for voting wrong because I want to tell you, there was a very well-briefed group. You girls were just fine. Number 1, you have 2 wrong votes. What is your real name, please, and what do you do?
My name is Martha Carroll. I am from Hawaii. Right now, I am teaching at New York University, and I'm a part-time hula and Tahitian dancer on weekends in Chicopee, Massachusetts.
How about that? I just have a part-time hula dancer with a glass bottom. It must be a fascinating show. Number 2 with 1 wrong vote. What is your real name, please, and what do you do?
My name is Martha Rice, and I'm from Los Angeles originally also. and I'm a dancer, and I'm trying to get into television production.
Poor child. Poor child. Deanie, you're an adventurous sort. Aside from this, you do other things of a daring nature, don't you?
I used to do some skydiving about 5 or 6 years ago. I gave it up for something safe, like helicopters.
What I want to know is flying in anything. How do you, you're in Toronto.
Right, Toronto, Canada.
I'm sorry, I was thinking about the young lady from California. I was wondering how you ever saw Los Angeles from the air. I never have.
Oh.
I've been above it, but you can't see through it. With all of the fellows coming back from the service, we're suddenly going to have thousands of trained helicopter pilots. Is there going to be work for them, do you think?
As a matter of fact, before they come back, we right now have a surplus of helicopter pilots. We have more pilots than we do have jobs, which is interesting because the helicopter license is terribly expensive.
Well, Deanie, I admire you very, very much, as well as your friends. You've given us a good time. Thanks very much for being with us here on To Tell the Truth.
Thank you.
Thank you, Greg. Well, lots of ladies are making a lot of noise today about feminine liberation, and we've had our share. I shouldn't say our share. Let's say we've had a great number of people representing the women's lib on our show. So today we bring you the other side of the story. Our next guest is in favor, not of femlib, but of fascinating womanhood. And we'll meet her in a moment right after these messages. Feathers will fly.
1998, 2 CDs, $26.98, plus $4.95 shipping. Have your credit card ready and call now.
Now let's meet the lady who is all femininity.
Number 1, what is your name, please?
My name is Helen Andelin.
Number 2.
My name is Helen Andelin.
Number 3.
My name is Helen Andelin.
All right, and here is Helen Andelin's story. Listen carefully, please. I, Helen Andelin, enjoy being a girl. I firmly believe that it is not only a woman's duty, but her greatest delight to devote herself to the fine feminine task of caring for and pleasing her man. No matter how much they shout and carry on, women are not men. They think differently and have their own unique emotional makeup. I truly believe that fulfillment as a woman comes from the practice of those feminine arts that not only make a woman more of a woman, but help make her man more of a man. In order to bring my theories to the attention of American women, I organized the Fascinating Womanhood Foundation. However, I am no longer head of this foundation. I turned it all over to my husband. You see, the whole thing became a man-sized job. Signed, Helen Andelin. And Helen has written a very fascinating book with a very dainty pink-on-pink cover called Fascinating Womanhood. And we'll be back to talk about this fascinating thing. Well, let's start right now. Peggy Cass,
What?
do you want to... Hello there, dear.
Hi.
Do you want to talk to these ladies and find out about this whole thing?
Yes, I do.
All right.
Okay, number 3. How can a person be fascinating and feminine arts? Do you think we should all take up needlepoint or spray perfume around the room? I mean, what? It's going to make us fascinating.
Well, the real fascinating woman, it all comes from within. It all starts with inner qualities. And in my book, I talk about the two different qualities, the angelic side of the woman and the human side. And you need both of these in order to be the ideal woman from the man's viewpoint.
But, my dear, you make it sound like Gone with the Wind kind of a lady. I mean, number 1, girls have to run dishwashers and fry eggs and do housework. They can't sit around looking like angels. I mean, don't you believe that women should go out and get a job?
Well, no, I think a woman's greatest responsibility is to create a happy marriage and to make a happy home and to be a wonderful wife. Be a wonderful wife. And
well, I don't think that that's her main... I don't agree with you, by George. I just don't. Number 2, I feel like...
Thank you, Peggy, for a fascinating series of statements. No questions, lots of statements. Let's go to Bill Cullen.
It's not by George, it's by Sylvia. If you're going... Number 2, what is it you think that women's lib wants that they should not have, that you don't agree with? Number 2.
Well, I think the important thing for women is to follow their inner desires and also to make their men happy. And I think women's lib, I'm against that because they just want to sort of replace a lot of the...
Thank you. Number one, there are some things that women's lib has talked about that are sort of ridiculous, maybe to gain attention, but basically, can't you have all those things, most of those things they want, and still be feminine, number one?
Well, I think you can work and be feminine, but
Right.
I think you can't be feminine if you don't like being a woman. I think you have to first like being a woman and like making a man happy.
Number three, don't you think a lot of the people in women's...
Thank you, Derry. We're going, Bill, and we go to Kitty.
Well, number two, of course women aren't men. It looks to me as though you're pushing against the open door. Obviously, women are not supposed to be men, but what is this angelic side of women that you seem to stress?
Well, I think that what we mustn't lose sight of are the high ideals of womanhood.
I see.
You see.
Thank you. Number three, do you believe a woman can work and still be feminine and please her man?
Well, I feel that the most important job a woman can have is to be as good a wife as possible, but this doesn't necessarily
Thank you.
preclude
Number
her
one,
working.
supposing to be a good wife, he needs a supplement to his income. Don't you think she ought to get out there and turn to and earn a buck?
Well, most women work for luxuries, and I don't think...
Not true. Oh, dear, no.
I think that a woman should not neglect her home I don't think a woman should work if it means neglecting the home.
Number two, do you think she ought to always look absolutely like
I'm
Scarlett
sorry,
O'Hara?
Kitty, and we're going to go to Derry.
Thank you, Gary. Number two, may I ask, how long have you been married?
23 years.
Number one, and how long have you been married?
28 years.
And number three?
5 years.
Have you been married, number one, have you been married to the same man all the time?
Yes, I have.
Number two, caring for and pleasing your man, who taught you this, number two?
Well, I think it's a part of woman's nature to love and please and want to make your man happy and to love him.
Number three, are you a religious person?
Yes, I am.
Number one, do you think that today's fashions lend themselves toward femininity?
No, I do not. I think clothes should be more feminine.
I noticed that you're the only one in the group there who has a dress who comes down just a nudge below your knees.
You notice those things, don't you?
I catch all that stuff before, you know.
That does us it. That is voting time. Mark your ballots mentally at home, actually on the panel, and mark them for 1, or for 2, or for 3, keeping in mind that it costs you $50 for a wrong guess, $500 if all the guesses are wrong. And Peggy Cass?
Well, there's a lot of talk about how women should make men happy. Why shouldn't they make us happy? Men should make girls happy, right? What's wrong with that?
I'll buy that.
Right. The ideal job for a girl who feels that she should be angelic and all that seems to be a great job for her to be working in the harem. But I voted for 3 because she's Southern and they're very feminine, well known to be very feminine.
They're well known. Yeah. Okay, that's 1 vote for number 3. And what have you written on your ballot there?
Well, by and large, I agree in part with what Helen had to say, not completely. I have to disqualify myself. That's what I have to do.
You're on what basis?
Well, on the basis of the dumb architecture of these New York theaters. That's the basis. I came down from the dressing room early, and I walked through the hall, and the hall is where a telephone is, a pay phone, and Helen, I assume it was Helen, was there making a phone call, but can I,
You don't know which one is Helen.
Yes, well,
think
if it
you
was...
saw-
Yes, I think she said her name, if I recall correctly. But I figure this is better than a wrong vote, you see, as far as my own personal score is concerned.
Bill, you're a good, honest fellow. We'll send you a medal in the morning. Okay. 1 disqualification, 1 vote for number 3, and what's Kitty going to do?
Well, I voted for number 2 because I think that number 3 was quoting from the book when she said part of it is a spiritual side, and I think number 2 looks very spiritual, and so I think it's she.
So it's 1 for 2 and 1 for 3, and Derwent Kirby?
I voted for number 2 also, and practically for the same reasons that you've chosen, Kitty. Number 2.
Okay. So everybody has made up their minds. Will the real Helen Andelin please stand up?
Yep.
Yeah. cash register just rang up a big $500 for the ladies over there. Congratulations. Helen will be back to you in a moment. Number 2, you got 2 wrong votes. What is your real name, please, and what do you do?
My name is Virginia Thorin Rice, and I'm a fashion photographer in southern Manhattan.
Good. And number 3, you got 1 wrong vote. What is your real name, please, and what do you do?
My name is Paula Stevenson Humphreys. I'm originally from Atlanta, have recently moved here, and I'm a water pollution control chemist.
Great for you. Bill, did your honesty pay off? Was it the right girl? You did see her?
Yes, yes. I actually didn't hear her say a name. I could not help but overhear her saying to someone, "Thank you for the article that you wrote," or something like that. She had, so I assume it would be the real one who would have an article written about her.
Oh, righty. Didn't want you to waste a vote. Helen and friends, it's been a joy having you with us on To Tell the Truth. We'll read your book, and thank you very much. Panel, let me give you a little memory test. We all remember the wise words of well-loved friends. Had Orson Bean been here, where would Orson have said a woman's place is?
A woman's place is in the stove.
It's exactly what he would say. With those words of wisdom from Orson far out in Australia, we bid you farewell. We'll see you here Monday.
In addition to the cash awards, our central characters today will receive this beautiful ring in 14-karat gold set with an azalea pink Lindy Star sapphire, one of 8 glowing fashion colors available in Lindy Star. Transportation and other considerations provided by Chevrolet, featuring the 1971 Impala, the largest Impala ever built, more wheelbase, more glass, side guard door beams, more sound-deadening materials, all at a very Chevrolet price. This is Johnny Olson speaking for To Tell the Truth, a Mark Goodson, Bill Todman production.